Bellport Battle Bunker for this Warhammer 40k Battle Report featuring Mortarion's Anvil Plague Company of the Death Guard and the Astra Militarum Crimson Guard 44th Emperor's Fist Armored Company. Today we are playing a Strike Force mission from the 2020 GT mission pack called Surround and Destroy. Surround and Destroy has 6 objectives on the battlefield, and you have to control the enemy's objectives, and you also have to hold on to your own. So we will be using the Surround Them secondary objective in the league that we're playing for the 2021 Bellport Battle Bunker League. We're saying that you have to pick one of these secondaries from the mission. So the first secondary for each of our armies is going to be scoring 4 victory points at the end of the command phase and at the end of the battle if you control both the objective markers in your deployment zone and one or more objectives from your opponent's deployment zone. So if you score one of them, you get 4, and if you control all 4, your own and the 2 in the enemy, you would get 8 points, and that's at the end of any of command phase and also at the end of the game. This will be a 2,000 point match play game, 9th edition. Okay, so we got attacker defender. Scott's army, the Death Guard, will be the defender, and they selected the far deployment zone along that battlefield edge, and the 44th Emperor's Fist Tank Company will be coming on from this table edge. Talking about the battlefield here, we have our game mat. Today is brought to us by Table War, Frontline Gaming, and I like this mat because I like playing on full-size mats, but we have the minimum size, and Scott and I agreed that we're going to have like some of the borders, you know, shaved down a little bit. So over here on the short table edges, because this battlefield has all the markings on it, we're going to get about 4 inches in on each side, so that's going to reduce the length of the battlefield a little bit, not the full 12 inches that the EX, but 8 inches. And then the borders on our long table edges will be 2 inches shorter, which will bring us in line with the minimum table width for the 44 inches. And the objectives are still placed from the middle. So these are the 2 objectives in no man's land. They're just going to be good for primaries. And then we have the objectives in the deployment zones for each army. They're going to be in the ruins, one of them, and we tried to make it so that each one was in a ruin and one outside of it. Okay, so we're going to have, if you're coming on for reinforcements, we decided that the streets are the only ways that you can enter the battlefield. So we have 2 entry points on the sides over here and 2 entry points from our own deployment table edges. So the streets will be the only way you can come on if you're going to choose reinforcements. And the footprint of these ruins are from gamemat.eu, well, most of them, and the footprint of the ruin. So when you see this line here of each ruin, everyone has a base. It's really nice for that. And then the craters will just be a crater, so it will be difficult ground, but if you're in the crater, you're not obscured. You're to be behind the ruin. So you have to be touching or in the footprint of the ruin to be able to shoot out of it, or be able to be targeted by somebody that's outside of it. So can't shoot through the ruins, obscuring terrain, but if you're in the crater, you cannot see out of it either. You are obscured and blocked. So plenty of cover on this dense city terrain. We have lots of alleyways though for tanks and other vehicles that can't go through walls to be able to maneuver, and also to hide turn one or control objectives and whatnot. Okay, so once again the filth of chaos has entered into an Imperial city, and the time to crush our enemy is once and for all at hand. Maintain a strong rear guard in our zone, while our other vanguard forces are going to push past our foe's flanks and hopefully surround and cut them off and let the slaughter begin, ridding the battlefield of this chaos filth. And Scott's going to be on that side, and obviously he's trying to, well, he's literally trying to spread the sickness in this Imperial city. All the inhabitants have fled this area, whatever ones that were left, and the two forces, Chaos and Imperial, will clash in mortal combat. So today we welcome back to the channel Scott, and Scott has been working on his new, well, he had a Death Guard army, I believe, right? And then you're adding some units.
Actually, some of these models are back from Eye of Terror 3rd edition.
All right, so talk to us about what you've been working on and what you got today.
So this will be my first time using the new codex. There were a couple of interesting changes. I admit I'm not a fan of the new Disgusting Resilience. Not that I'm sure everyone will explain to me it's a better thing and all that, but I miss the old 5+ reroll. It was just fun. Just always exciting when you got to that point and it's one gun and you roll the 5+ and it could decide the game. But overall I tried a lot of my old units mixed with some of the new units to see how it would work. So,
all right, so let's take a look at the army, what you brought today.
So let's see, I got my Demon Prince here. He has, what is it, the Superating Plate. So he has a 2+ save. And if the bearer loses in a fight, which won't really happen in this battle, if he loses a wound, the enemy takes a mortal wound. He also has Rotten Constitution, so armor penetration of -1 and -2 don't count against him. And he has an extra toughness. Yeah, and he has the spell Putris and Vitality. He gives strength and vitality to one unit. Then I got my Lord of Contagion. He has the Gloaming Bloat Contagion, which if you're in his contagion range, he turns off Overwatch and set to defend, and nothing can reroll wounds or hit in his area. And he has the normal add 3 and the Plague Reaper. Then we got Old-Fashioned Plague Marines, a mix of old and new models. They're mostly bolters. The one cool thing they have is the Signal of Decay. So any hit roll of 6 automatically wounds with their bolters. Then we got the Poxwalkers. I got 2 units of 20, and they're basically zombies. And they're, you can see they're from old sets all over the place. About half are new and a half are from Eye of Terror back in the day.
All right, so this is the Horde. Did they do any changes for Poxwalkers, or?
Yeah, so Poxwalkers, I mean, they're pretty much the same. They have 6+, feel no pain. If they kill someone, they can make another Poxwalker. They're a little tougher with toughness of 4, but really they're there to take hits.
Okay. And they can also spread the sickness for the...
Right, that's the only action they can do.
Got it, because they can't perform other actions.
Correct.
All right.
But that's
the mindless Horde.
That's one reason I picked Spread the Sickness over the other one in the Codex, because the other one, it only can be Space Marines that do it.
Right.
So limited. And I didn't bring a lot of Space Marines.
Chaos.
Then I brought Death Shroud Terminators, 2 units, each of 3. And them I did upgrade each of them. What's it? Captain, Lieutenant, Champion. The Champion has been upgraded to have the various, what are they called?
Boons?
Boons, yeah. Disease Vector, I think.
Oh, okay.
So one of them has that, and what it does is gives +1 strength to their weapon, plus an extra ability. So one of them, their bonus is they get the +1 strength, and it does an extra damage against vehicles. So it's bringing it up to 3 damage for his weapon. The other one, what was it? Explosive Red. Any unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. And
Now,
+1 strength.
Was this from the Mortarion's Anvil Plague Company, or is it just Death Shroud Terminators in general get these?
Any character can have their weapon upgraded, and there's a couple of choices for points.
Okay.
Let's see who's next on the list. The Fell White Spawn. So he's the guy with the sprayer, and I upgraded him to have Vicious Death. And what that does is he can +1 strength to his weapon, but also he can reroll the results of how many attacks he gets. So since it's a sprayer, it's pretty helpful. He also has the thing where he can make other people not fight first, but I don't think you're charging me this battle.
Okay.
Then we got the Hellbrute. Once again, a very old model. But every time I don't bring him to a battle, I lose the battle. So
He's your lucky charm.
yeah, hopefully he keeps up with it. He has a las cannon and missile launchers. That's really it. Now the weird thing, him and the Defiler actually aren't. They're Nurgle, but they don't get a lot of the abilities. So while they do spread some of the stuff, they're not quite the same. There's some weirdness on how the rules interact. Like they don't get disgusting resilience, but he does. But he already reduces damage by 1.
Yeah, similar to the Duty Eternal, right?
Yeah, so it's weird, but he does still have contagions. Then fast attack, I got 3 chaos spawns.
I always love these models. They look good. These are custom, right? You
no, these.
you look like this was.
These are the plague toads from Forge World.
Right. So, but you've used these before. These look really nice.
Yeah.
I always like these models.
And they've been upgraded to have was it grandfatherly something or influence. So they get an extra toughness. They're toughness 6, and they do have the disgust and resilience, so -1 damage to them. Then we got the bloat drone, who has a flesh mower, so that should be fun.
That's a fun name for a weapon, the flesh mower.
Yeah, so
well, I do have a squad of infantry that will have to try to stay clear of that.
Actually, your tank should be as afraid.
Oh, good.
Because it's strength 7.
So choose to metal also?
Well, and remember he gives -1 to, they all
That's
give
right.
-1 to toughness,
All right,
so
if he gets close enough, it'll be...
yeah, and it's 12 attacks a turn with it, so not too bad. Then the Mythic Blighthauler, this guy here, he has a little blast weapon, and then he has a missile launcher and a multi-melta. And he also can bite people, but I don't think that'll be the main use for him.
Yeah.
Then we got the Defiler. I went with the Defiler Scourge instead of the Flamer. But besides that, he's pretty much a Defiler. The cannon has been upgraded though, so it's actually, I didn't upgrade it, just in the rules they have. It's now damage 3 flat.
Okay.
So that's nice. And then the Plague Burst Crawlers, which they both are going to have entropy cannons and the Plague Burst Mortar. Which the best thing for them that's changed is the fact that Demon Engines went to BS of 3+, and they don't go down from moving. So Sunway thing that was normally hitting on 5s is hitting on 3s, which is huge.
And there's also, I saw a stratagem where they can up their damage to 3.
Correct. You can pick 1 at the beginning of your shooting, so, you know, the only risk with that is I'm sure I'm going to roll the 1 of number of shots when I do that. But correct.
But a good counter to the full payload that is in the existing Guard Codex.
Absolutely.
Well, not the new one from the Greater Good. I think it was that supplement that gave those new abilities out. But that seemed, I like the theme where they're going to getting the flat damage. I prefer flat damage as opposed to random rolls, but it looks like that's the direction I'm going with these new codexes.
Yeah, well, even just the Disgusting Resilience going from a 5+ roll to now just -1 damage.
Right.
They're going much more predictability. Yeah.
All right, so now what is Mortarion's Anvil going to do for this force in particular? Anything special that we should be aware of? Or?
Well, I'm not going to be using their stratagem unless you decide to charge me, because you can have anyone heroically intervene is the stratagem. Once again, it's not big here. I kind of debated, because the way I made my list, there weren't many of the play companies that helped that much. But in particular, I like the fact that I could give my Warlord the ability to shut down rerolls in Overwatch.
And who's going to be the Warlord?
It's going to be this guy.
Okay.
And he and his 2 units of
The Terminators,
they're going to be up on the ship waiting to appear.
Okay, so this is the Warlord. And what was his name again? What was his the model name?
Lord of Contagion.
Lord of Contagion. All right.
He actually just has the Reaper. I didn't take the special bomb thing.
Okay, so that's 2,000 points of the new codex using the Mortarion's Anvil Plague Company. And it looks like you got a nice mix of models. And you got the Plague Burst Crawlers are a solid choice, and the Poxwalkers with the theme. And then you got the new Death Shroud Terminators, which are supposed to be a little bit more improved from the previous edition, right?
Well, everything else has gone up in points. They've gone down, I think, 25 points.
All right, so we're more efficient.
Per model.
Good. Yeah. All right, so this is going to be spreading the sickness in this Imperial city. Well, let's see if our tank company can put a stop to it.
And this is a bit of a revenge for your tank company.
This one?
Yeah, I mean, last time the Death Guard faced them.
Oh, that's right, because I think I remember this guy, right? Wasn't this Defiler in there?
Yeah, a bunch of them were there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we're going to get some revenge here and see if we can stop the filth from spreading. All right, let's go check out the Imperial Guard. So here is the Astra Militarum. It's going to be a custom regiment from the Greater Good book. And this guy, you're going to use the gunnery experts and spotter details. So this is the 44th Emperor's Fist armored Spearhead. So it is a Spearhead detachment, which means it's costing me 3 command points that I can't replace, even though I have the Warlord in here. That's only available for patrol, battalion, and brigade. So I'm down to 9 right out of the gate. So let's go through it here. My Warlord today is going to be the Master of Ordnance, and the relic he's going to have is Korov's Aquila. That means whenever the enemy uses a command point on a 5-up, I would gain a command point, up to a maximum of 1 per turn. So he also has an artillery barrage where he calls in a basilisk barrage once per game. And there is a stratagem that can be played to make that, instead of D6 random shots, these full 6 shots. And if he has direct line of sight, he uses his ballistic skill 3. Otherwise, it could be fired indirectly at a ballistic skill of 4. So he's the Warlord, Master of Ordnance, in charge of this tank company trying to fight the Death Guard. We got 1 infantry squad mounted in a Chimera. The infantry squad is pretty much standard. It's going to have a grenade launcher, and the sergeant does have a chain-sword. So 10 infantrymen inside a Chimera. It has the dual heavy flamer, so I guess the poor man's hellhound, and we got the lasgun arrays also. When they're inside the tank, they can fire those lasgun arrays at the enemy. So this is the. I think I'm gonna put this guy in reserve. I'll have him coming off one of the table edges from one of those streets, just to see if I can get those flamers in a little closer to the enemy. I think that Scott might be setting up his Poxwalkers on those objectives to spread the sickness in his home backfield. So, and then he will have to move forward to further spread the sickness deeper into the hive city. So my best chance will be to put this guy into reserve and come off that battlefield edge, at least one of the edges, with the movement. It's only a 5-inch move, but those flamers are now 12-inch range, so not too bad. All right, and the Master of Ordnance, when he's within 6 inches of a mana core, and the mana core fires at a unit that's more than 36 inches away, I get to reroll 1s to hit. And I also gave it full payload, so instead of a Warlord trait for the Warlord, we're giving full payload to this has a tank ace, which means the damage will be a flat 3 from those Storm Eagle rockets. And there's a heavy flamer on the hull. Okay, the Spearhead leaders are going to be these two tank commanders. They are identical, even though the cannons look a little bit different. We used to use the one on the right, used to be the Hammer of Sunderance, but not allowed to use specialist attachment rules in match play games. So, but I'm sticking with the model. So we got two tank commanders. On the left, you got Tank Commander Matrix, and on the right, you got Tank Commander Danko, driving Red Heat. And both of those are going to have multi-melta sponsons and a last cannon in the hull and a hunter-killer missile, and also the Auger Array. And the Auger Array just allows me one time in the game to re-roll one of the failed misses. So probably use it on that hunter-killer missile, hopefully, if I remember. But if we don't need it, then we can go to the last cannon or a multi-melta shot, or anything else we want. So I'm basically getting one free roll for 5 points on each of those tanks. Okay, squadrons. We got 3 Leman Russ squadrons. I got a Demolisher squadron here, so there's going to be the triple heavy flamer, sponsons in the hull, and then a Demolisher cannon. I also equipped it with track guards, so this way it doesn't matter what the profile is, it will always get its full movement. Obviously its ballistic skill and attacks go down when it's degraded, but track guards do allow that vehicle to move as if it were at its full profile for movement purposes. And then I have 2 other identical Leman Russ battle tank squadrons of 2 tanks each. I got Red Squad right here, which is triple heavy bolter, and the battle cannon, and then it's identical here, triple heavy bolter, and the battle cannon. And that's the list. So we're going to see if this tank company can maneuver in this dense hive city. We were the first ones on the scene to arrive and try to stop the spread of the sickness with. Okay, so we are deployed. Scott started with the Poxwalkers. He put them in the ruin over here, and he's got a Plague Burst crawler, looks like close to that objective. And over here in the center, he's got his beasts with the Hellbrute, a Demon Prince, and it looks like a squad of Plague Marines behind. And we got the Flesh Mower up here. He's got the fly keyword, so he'll be able to move out of that terrain, jump around a little bit. We got the, what is this little guy called with the missile launcher and the multi-melta? I forget his name.
The Mythic Blighthauler.
Mythic Blighthauler. And then your Defiler, and then the, what is it, the Biologist Putrefier?
Correct, the one with the sprayer.
With the sprayer. And over here on the other flank, we got a Mira of Poxwalkers on the objective and a Plague Burst crawler. So opposite them,
Foul Blight Spawn.
Foul Blight Spawn. So opposite them, I have a squadron of Leman Russ battle tanks. They have to be within 6 inches of each other when they deploy, but after that they can move independently. There is other ways for us to shoot through. We can't shoot through the ruins, obviously, but that little spot in the middle where the crater is an open alleyway. Over here, a little bit more restricted. It looks like, well, obviously you can't shoot through this big ruin in the center here, but the Demolisher tanks are placed on the, one of them is in the terrain behind the ruin, the other one is out in the street open. And I do have one of my tank commanders here, and it looks like we're going to have a face-off. We got a Beast of Spawn and a Demon Prince, the Flesh Mower up top, the Hellbrute. This looks like there's going to be a lot of action on this flank. And then the Manticore is behind the ruin, and along with the Warlord. And I have a tank commander behind the ruin. I'd have to move up to toe in to be able to shoot through it. Facing off against that Plague Crawler and the Spawn on that side. And then I have another squadron of Leman Russ tanks that the only thing they can see right now looks like it's Spawn. I mean not Spawn, Poxwalkers. I have to move out. I can't see through this terrain. It's obscuring, so I'd have to move around, and then I'd be able to shoot possibly at that Plague Burst crawler. Alright, so this is the battlefield. We got it set up, and we got the matchup. The 44th Emperor's Fist Tank Company Armored Spearhead is going to try to get across, surround, and destroy the Death Guard from Mortarion's Anvil. And remember, the secondaries for the mission are to take and try to hold each other's objectives that are in the deployment zones. And let's go over what we picked for the other secondaries. We both took Bring It Down because obviously have tons of vehicles, and you have, I believe, 7 vehicle-like units, right, that I would get. I think I would max out at 10. I think we figured it out because of the new FAQ that they put out for Bring It Down. Yeah. Only the Plague Burst Crawlers are worth the 2, right? And the Defiler. And then all the other guys are worth 1. So there's some points to be had there. And I also took Engage on all fronts. So I want to be able to get across this battlefield. The goal is to try to get my opponent's objectives. So I do want to be moving forward. So I'm going to try to get past the halfway point, which you can see here is marked off by these 2 objectives in the center. And then obviously the table quarters from the middle here. This crater is in the direct middle of the battlefield. And you also took Bring It Down, so you're doing that. And then you took one of your the new ones from the book, right? Spread the Sickness. Yeah. Can you explain how that's going to work?
So at the end of my movement phase, I can start it. It has to be an infantry unit doing it. And then at the end of my turn, I can either roll a d6, and on a 4+ it becomes contaminated for 3 victory points, or I can take d3 mortal wounds, and then it becomes contaminated. You only can contaminate a place once, though.
So these Poxwalkers, obviously on these home objectives, they would be able to forfeit all charges or shooting or anything like that, but they can spread the sickness on these 2 home objectives. Then they would have to move off of that. Well, they get more to spread more sickness?
If they want to spread more, correct.
I got it. Okay. And then the other ones that can do it are these Plague Marines here.
Plague Marines, the guy over here, and then the guys up in the ship.
Got it. And you have the Death Shroud, 2 squads of 3, and then the Lord of Contagion is teleporting in.
Correct.
And you used, you said 2 command points from your 12?
Yep. 1 for the Grandfatherly Influence, so they would become Nurgle Chaos Spawn. So up toughness, and they get disgusting resilience. And then to give him actually no, was he the artifact? No, to give him the extra warlord trait.
Extra warlord trait. And who had the? You said there was a relic.
No, I mixed it up. It was the
so just the warlord trait.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm down to 9 because spearheads don't get the 3 that are cost for a spearhead replenished. And then I also used 1 to put my Chimera and my infantry squad into reserve. So I'm starting at 8, and you'll be starting at 10. So all that's left now is to roll off and see who will get the first turn. And then the new match play rules, whoever wins this dice roll has to go first. All right, so we were just discussing, we're not really sure who wants to go first. You do have indirect fire, as do I, so I guess that could be something that could do some damage. And we do have a couple of units that have direct line of sight. I mean, your Hellbrute and my tanks are facing off with firepower that can range out. This guy's kind of out of position a little bit, but here's another one that has direct line of sight right out of the gate. You know, these 2 guys are facing off, so first turn could be a little bit beneficial with at least maybe knocking out 1 unit or 2. So let's roll off right here in the center. We'll see what we got, and winner is going to go first. So the Armored Company gets a 6. And another 6. So the battle has already begun. The battle of wits. All right. Uh-oh, that's a double 6 there.
You get first turn.
All right. So the Armored Fist is coming on with speed and conviction, and we're going to get the first volley of shots off on this slow-moving Death Guard.
Hopefully I have something left afterwards.
All right. So battle round 1 coming up for the Astra Militarum Armored Company. So we had the movement. It's a slow go in the beginning because there's the narrow alleyways that we have to move here, and I'm trying to utilize my grinding advance this first turn to get as much shooting as possible out of those battle cannon turrets and demolisher turrets. So the tank commander moved up into the ruins, so now he is a viable target for anything that could see through this ruin. So that includes in this direction also, if Scott can somehow get line of sight. But I'll be able to see through now, so I can target the Plague Burst Crawler with my tank commander. This squadron and Lehman Russ is both moved up 5 inches. The forward Lehman Russ does have enough of its hull on the line of sight here to see the Plague Burst Crawler, but the second tank is definitely blocked. Not only is he blocked by his own man, but the ruin here is cutting me off from seeing the Plague Burst Crawler, but I can fire all weapons through at the Poxwalkers. So that's that movement. The Manticore is going to sit still because it can fire with indirect fire. And everything here moved up. The 5-inch slow move. So we got the Demolisher. The lead Demolisher is in range of the Hellbrute and the... Well, the Demon Prince cannot be targeted, right? Because he has 8 wounds. So it's really just the Hellbrute and the Beast and the Flesh Mower up there. That will be targets. This one has 30-inch range. The second one, which did fall short of the Hellbrute, and but it does have range on the Flesh Mower and the Beast that were in front of them, because we were just short of the 30-inch range with the spotter details on that Demolisher cannon. And this one with the Tank Commander with his multi-melters is 30-inch multi-melter range, way well in range, but not the short range. But I'll be able to fire at the Hellbrute, Flesh Mower. I got choices here, so getting this first volley could prove to be beneficial. We'll see how it goes. And then on this flank over here, this lone squadron here holding the flank bravely against, looks like I'll be able to get shots. Both tanks can see the Plague Burst Crawler. This guy can see the Defiler, but the forward tank cannot. So I could get shots. And the heavy bolters, plenty of range on those Poxwalkers to try to get them whittled down as much as possible. Now, Poxwalkers, do they have a 5-up Feel No Pain, or they used to have it, but that
6+ Feel No Pain.
they do. So they do have some kind of, at least something
and then cover
to come back, right? All right. So it's not like they did the -1 damage again, or do they still have that too?
Well, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter, but I guess at least they kept that, because that would have been a loss for them, right? To lose the ability to come back. All right. So that's the end of movement. We're gonna do a bunch of shooting, and we'll get back to you after that. So there was a lot of dice rolled here. We just decided to do a little summary. We fired both battle cannons at the Plague Burst Crawler and took 6 wounds off with the what is that? What's the new where you subtract 1 from damage? It's not disgusting resilience. So they changed that rule. So everything did 1 damage each, and then the heavy bolters killed about 6 of the Poxwalkers. So now we're going to come over here and fire this rear Demolisher cannon up at the Flesh Mower, and we get 2d6 shots. I am able to re-roll the dice for Gunnery Sergeants on either one of these. So we got a 9, I'll keep the 9. And we're hitting on 4s with no re-rolls. So it looks like that's a good spread of hits right there, and it's all 6s, which is
on 3s.
Getting good here. So strength 10 against your toughness 7.
So 3s.
So wounding on 3s, looks like we're going to get 5. And this will be at -3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
But you're in cover, so it's at -2.
But doesn't change anything. So 4 go through. I think he's going to be a goner.
Alright, 4 go through. It's d6 damage each, but subtracting 1 for your disgustingly resilience. So it looks like it's 4, 8, 11, 12 damage total. Alright, do they have a chance of exploding?
Yeah, but they don't affect Nurgle, so...
They don't affect each other. That's a putrid explosion now, right? They got the new rule. It was that one and the little guy over here too, right? This little guy?
Yeah.
But all the other vehicles kept it?
I'm not sure. I gotta check these guys. I know the other vehicles.
The putrid explosion. Yeah. Alright, so we got our first kill of the Flesh Mower, so we're going to move on to the next Demolisher. We'll get back to you with the summary. A lot of damage done here. Let's go through the summary. So we took the Plague Burst Crawler down to 1 with its disgusting resilient, taking 1 damage off of this tank commander's multi-melters and las cannon, hunter killer missile, battle cannon. He was able to survive. Both of these Lehman Russes targeted the Poxwalkers and took them down to what, about 4 left in that squad?
Yep.
With all the battle cannon maximum shots, with the You know, you get all the shots with the blast markers with those big horde units. This tank commander used a tank order strike and shroud, and then used inspired tactics to give this demolisher gunner's kill on sight, rerolling ones to hit. And they were both able to, well, this rear demolisher took out the flesh mower that was up top with his battle cannon, but these two guys were able to focus down the Hellbrute, and we split some fire and killed one of the beasts right there, one of those little toads that are spawned. And then over here, we already went over that, and then my Manticore, I tried to finish off all the way across, because I get over 36 inches, the Master of Ordnance gets reroll of ones. We tried to lob all the way up and over to this Plague Burst crawler, and I think we got 2 missiles through, all in the end, a couple of points of damage, and then we used the focus bombardment stratagem. So we spent another point from the Master of Ordnance to get that heavy 6 shot from a basilisk that's way off the field somewhere, and I think we got 1 through on that and did a damage. So I think he's down to 3. So both of the Plague Burst crawlers are damaged, and we killed a Hellbrute and one of your beasts, and then also the flesh mower.
Correct.
So we did some damage, took a chunk out of the army. Now we're going to get into, I'm not in range of getting any of my secondaries at this point. I did get a Hellbrute, so that was worth 1 point, right?
And a flesh mower, which is...
And a flesh mower, so I got 2 points for bringing it down, but I'm not in range of engaging on all fronts, because that's the halfway mark where those objectives are, and I'm making my way up there as hopefully for the next couple of turns. So we're going to go to bottom of turn 1. Scott's movement phase, we'll get back to you after that.
Them into plague weapons, all their bolters. Then I'm going to do Eternal Hatred, so they get +1 to their attacks. And then I'm going to give them, oh, actually I did something out of order, but yeah, -4 if they roll 6 on the wound to armor.
All right, so we got these guys. They got buffed up by a psychic power, and now they got 3 stratagems being used from the new book. All right, what's their target?
The tank there.
The Demolisher or the tank commander?
The Demolisher.
Okay.
That's the other guy is smoke on, right?
Yes.
So.
All right, so Scott moved up these beasts into this alley, and we got the little Mythic Blighthauler in there, but now these Plague Marines are going to fire at my Demolisher.
And they get hitting with 2s.
So you used virulent rounds, and then...
But I also have him within range, so they can re-roll 1s. And they're hitting on 2s, so that means they hit with all but 1. That's pretty good.
All right, and now we got Creeping Blight and Eternal Hate.
Oh, did I? Crap. Did I get any other 6s? I didn't see.
Let's take a look.
4 if they wound.
All right, so any 6s here is the virulent rounds.
And of course I didn't get any, but I do get to re-roll the 1s because it's a plague weapon. So yeah, I threw away a bunch of command points. So 3 with saves.
And that minus...
Nothing.
Nothing? All right, so 3 ups. So 2 go through.
Okay, well, 2
So did 1
ones.
damage each?
Yep.
All right, so that tank's down to 10. Okay, so we got the little blight hauler guy going to fire into the same Demolisher that was wounded.
So I'll do multi-meltas first. Both hit. It's 4s to wound. And so 1.
And -4 will go right through the armor.
But it's not close. I don't think that's not 12.
So D6.
So 3.
So he's down to 7. And then the missile launcher.
Oh, missile launcher. I need something. Okay, that hits. Does it wound? It wounds.
Any minus on that?
It's -2, right?
So it looks like a 5 up. I fail it with a 4. D6.
3.
So we're down to 4 damage on this lead Lumen Russ.
Okay, it's not quite.
And over here, while you're picking your next target, I'm just going to recap the Biologist Putrefier extended his flaming range, shot through this building, and did 6 damage to this tank. And I believe your Plague Burst Crawler missed, but he's damaged. But the Defiler was able to do 6 damage to this tank with his weapon, Plague Weapon.
Correct.
So we got some damage working our way across the field here. The beasts don't have any shooting weapons, right?
No.
Alright. So the middle fire. So now we got a damaged Plague Burst Crawler over here as the last unit to fire. Alright, so we got a indirect fire Plague Burst Mortar going for the damaged Demolisher.
4 attacks at 5+. So 2 hit. Strength 8 versus 8. So both.
Alright, what's the minus on that one?
I believe it is -2.
So 5 ups. I failed 1, made 1.
So he takes 2 damage.
2 flat. Alright. And that stratagem he played on the other one, right? He didn't get his, he rolled low on the shots trying to target my mana core. And then the entropy cannons and the...
Into the commander.
Right here, okay.
So the entropy cannons first, since they're the important ones. Both hit.
Oh, is he hitting on 5s?
Oh yeah, 5s, you're right. 1 hit. And
Plague weapon?
Plague weapon.
That's
Doesn't
twice
matter.
he did that with the plague weapons, double 1s.
Yeah.
Both entropies.
I have not been rolling well today.
And then we have that stubber on the front.
Yeah. Which 1 hit. Watch, this will be the 1 wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any minus on it? What did I roll? Well, I rolled a 2, so I'm failing it regardless.
So 1
Unless there is
damage.
no minus because I'm in cover, but is it even if it's -1, I'm still taking the damage.
Yeah, it's -1.
Just 1, right? All right, so he's down to 11.
Because I'm not going to rely on my dice to do a 4+.
So this is the spreading the sickness, right? So
Yeah.
you're infecting this home objective.
So I take 1 mortal wound.
So you're going for the take the D3, but you automatically get the sickness.
Correct.
And now over here.
2 mortal wounds.
All right. And you had played a card that brought a couple guys back. What was that card? That was a the Dead Walk Again?
Yeah, Dead Walk Again.
So you brought a couple guys back from that. You did drop a virus bomb right here in the right on the ordnance, massive ordnances area right here. So everything next round within 6 inches will have to suffer D3 mortal wounds on a dice roll of a 2 or better, right?
Yep.
So I've already taken a damage on him, so he's down to 2. So you could kill him unless I get him out of there. We'll see what happens on my movement. I have to get out of a 6-inch range of right where he's standing, the virus bomb.
The objective.
Oh, right on the objective. Okay,
Basically,
so
you can't
6 inches from that objective, I have to get out of the way, which means I won't be able to hold it. But somebody's going to be taking some virus bombs. It looks like mustard gas or something. Can these guys charge, or did they advance?
They advance, and I don't think beasts are immune to that this edition.
Any
so-
cards that could be played? Any stratagems that allow
No,
advance and charge?
no. Should-
All right, so your vehicles were damaged, and the dice rolling was really poor on this Plague Burst Crawler, but you were able to reduce 2 tanks down to half. This Demolisher is on 2 remaining, and he did some damage in here, and there's a virus bomb planted, which could do more mortal wounds on my turn, because I'm going to have to eat it. I'm going to try to get the ordnance guy out of there, but I think these other vehicles are going to be taking some damage. I'll probably be able to get him out of the way. All right, so that's the end of the shooting. So let's take a look at your objectives. So you were able to spread 2 sicknesses.
Yep.
So that's 3 points each for that.
Correct.
So you're getting 6 for that secondary.
And that's it.
You brought nothing down, right? We don't have a
Nope.
vehicle down yet. And what was the other third one? You had, well, surround them, which is the mission objective, which you have to hold your own objectives and then get into the enemy deployment zone. So you still have your Death Shroud Terminators and your Lord of Contagion off the board. I have my Chimera with my infantry squad, but it looks like you got the roads blocked off over there. So you got that road blocked. I still can't be within 9 inches of an enemy when I come on. So it looks like those two roads are blocked. So I'm either going to have to come on from these roads, my own two in here, or I'm going to have to hold for turn 3. Let's see what we got coming on to the top of turn 2, Astra Militarum movement phase. So at the end of the movement phase, we moved up through the ruins up here. So we're still not engaging on all fronts because we're not able to get across that full line fully. So we're going to use our, he moved maximum speed. So he's only going to be able to get his one shot with the battle cannon. This guy did move half. So we're going to be able to fire through, try to take out that wounded. The goal here is to take out that wounded Plague Burst Crawler and possibly kill the rest of those Poxwalkers, trying to free up that objective. And there's a Demon Prince behind this wall. We can't see him with anything, so he's not going to be a target unless I fire the Manicore, but I still think he's a character, so I got to get rid of... looks like I'm going to have to get rid of these beasts. This is what's stopping me. So if I can get rid of the beast, maybe they'll have a shot with the Manticore being the closest. The commander stayed still, and the Manicore stayed still, but this guy had to get away from the virus bomb, which has been planted. He's on 2 wounds right now, so he had to move away to get out of that 6-inch range from that objective. So it looks like I'm going to be taking D3, what is it, D3 mortal wounds?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can move this guy out of the way. Yeah, we're going to move him out of the way, just so we're not, I forgot about that virus bomb. Alright, so the Demolisher's not in it, but these 2 tanks will be inside that range. So we moved him out of the 6-inch range, and we moved the Master of Ordnance out, but he's there to take that hit from the mustard gas. The tank commander boogied over here with his maximum speed and is going to get lined up for a shot on the Defiler, it looks like, with the battle cannon and possibly heavy bolters. We'll see what we got. I'm going to try to flame with these 2 Demolishers. They're both in range of these beasts. Try to get those down with the flamers and maybe take out the Myphitic Blightholder with the Demolisher cannon. We'll see what we got. We used jury-rigged repairs to get this guy into the middle bracket. He just shuffled over 5 inches so that he could fire a double tap. And so it looks like heavy bolter is going to be coming from him to the Poxwalkers, but the battle cannon could target either the Plague Burst Crawler or the Defiler. We got range on that on an angle, and this guy also can fire. He's in the middle bracket though, so he's hitting on 5s. Alright, so that's the movement. We decided to keep the Chimera in. Scott's got it blocked off pretty good. I can't come down this alleyway, obviously due to the 9-inch rule, and even down there, it's blocked off right now. I can't come down there. I could come in over here, down one of these streets, or from my own objective, but that would be further away. Plus, Scott still has his 2 Death Shroud squads of Terminators and the Lord of Contagion to come down yet. And my goal is to be able to try to put pressure on those back objectives. So we're gonna keep them in the in reserves to the 3rd turn. All right, let's get some shooting, and we'll get back to you. The shooting phase saw these between the tank commander taking down the last Plague Burst Crawler over here, the damaged one, and then these 2 tanks were able to wash away the Poxwalkers, but that's still, they got the sickness on that one, so that is still got them the command point, but we at least got them off of that objective. Scott's going to have to make a decision to move either people over there or get something. He still has Terminators that can come down. We couldn't see the Demon Prince back there, so he didn't take any shots. I used a tank order inspired tactics to be able to make this Demolisher reroll 1s, and the Flamers were able to burn out the spawn, and we put a Demolisher cannon downrange, but that was the squad that you had all jacked up, right? Better toughness and everything, so we killed one. And the Myphitic Blightholder dodged a bunch of Manicore shells and Demolisher cannons and all kinds of different stuff, so he was able to survive. And this guy, the tank commander, came over here and was able to take down the Defiler with his melter guns and las cannons, battle cannons. I think I had to get an assist. One of these guys did some little bit of damage. I think a battle cannon from this tank. And we killed a couple of poxwalkers over there. You still have a good amount on that objective though, right?
Yeah,
in that building. So we were able to get a defiler down. That one's worth 2. And 2 plague burst crawlers.
Yep.
They were worth 3 each?
2 each.
2 each. Everything was worth either 2 or 1.
Yeah.
So
that's 6 points.
2, 4, 6. So those were the big ones. We got them down for Bring It Down, getting us 6 more points. We're still not engaging on all fronts, and we still haven't got the surround. So we're getting into the bottom of turn 2. Scott has some Death Shroud Terminators and a Lord of Contagion to come down. We'll get back to you after his movement phase. Alright, so we're at the bottom of the second turn. Scott was able to bring in his Deep Strikers right here between these 2 tanks and the Lord of Contagion over here. The Biologist Putrefier moved over here through the ruin and was able to spray, but he rolled low on his number of shots and was only able to do 3 damage. So this tank is standing when it could have been killed. And over here, the missile launchers and multi-melters, I think, did some damage, right? To this tank back here, reduced it down to half. The Plague Marines attempted to shoot it and did 1 damage. And then the Myphitic Blightholder charged it, but couldn't chew through the armor. So it's down to 1 wound. And this tank, you failed all these charges. So when you came in, you did what was that? You had some flamers, right?
Yep.
But they didn't do anything. And a bunch of failed charges over here. So 3 failed charges. We had 1 over here, but this guy got in. Didn't roll for a lot of attacks. I think he missed a lot.
Yep. He whiffed.
Yep. And the cleaver was able to do 6 damage, I believe. We did a couple of hits got through. So all my tanks are damaged except for 1. And you grew a couple more guys back, walking back from the dead, right? The dead shall rise again. Yep. So they came back over there. A
couple more.
And you were able to get on this objective, this objective, but you lost that one. So next turn, if I don't get you cleared off of these objectives, you'll be sitting on 3. And I still have my Chimera in reserve.
Correct.
So we fought back. We didn't do anything damage back with these tanks. And we're going to go... nothing bring it down yet. I got a tank on 1 wound, a tank on 3 wounds. So nothing's been brought down, but it looks like it's primed and ready to go. And you couldn't spread the sickness, right? You were not able to get that on this turn, maybe next turn?
I should have just had him do that.
All right. All right, so the game is still in its early stages. We're in the bottom of turn 2. We're going into turn 3. And it's still a close game. It's 8-6 with the secondaries and 10-5 with the primaries. So the Astra Militarum are winning. But we're going to see what happens in the turn 3 in the mid part of the game. Movement phase for Astra Militarum coming up. Alright, so we moved this tank out of the fight with the Demon Prince, and he's moved his maximum amount. So he got up to that. We cannot get the... I got to bring the Chimera in, but we couldn't bring him in on these streets, but I do have to bring him in this turn, so I got to go back and put him down. But we got him up here, so we're engaged on all fronts finally. Well, on 3 fronts, not all of them. This tank moved over here into position so we can tow in and shoot through at that squad if I need to, or the Demon Prince. The tank commander stayed still, got the Demon Prince right in his sights. This Demolisher moved up to try to put pressure into the center of the zone. But when we moved the other Demolisher out of the fight with the Myphitic Blightholder, Scott played to cut them down, and what'd you roll, a 6?
A 6.
And that's what brought that last, what does it do? It does 1 wound or it kills 1 model?
1 mortal wound.
1 mortal wound, and I had 1 wound left on the tank, so that tank was destroyed as it tried to release itself from the little biting mandibles of the Myphitic Blightholder. Let's get a zoomed in close look right there. You might be able to see a piece of tread stuck in there on that blight from this guy. So he tore off the tracks and destroyed it. It didn't explode. The tank commander over here moved his 5 inches so he could double tap into the Death Shroud Terminators. This tank moved away from the Death Shroud Terminators over here to get an angle to either shoot at the Biologist Putrefier that's in the open now. He's a character and he's more than 3 inches away from anybody and all by his lonesome. And then we got Poxwalkers in there, so that tank moved up, but it's limping along. It only moved 4 inches. So it moved into that area right there to try to keep going into engaging on 4 fronts. So I think I'm going to bring my Chimera in. Let's see. I'll probably bring him in over here. Let's see what we got. I'm going to get back to you. Gotta have a little thing. I can only bring him in on 3 sides. I couldn't. Scott has me blocked off on that road from that Demon Prince, so we couldn't fit the tank there with the 5-inch move. And over here, the Poxwalkers have this road blocked off. So let's get back to you where we're going to put that Chimera. We brought the Chimera in from my own table field here because I'm not going to be able to get him in on those other streets. So he can move with his 5 inches on up here. He's got 10 men of infantry in there with a grenade launcher. The 12-inch flamers would be out of range of the Myphitic Blightholer, so I'm going to stay right in this area right here. Hopefully away from the Terminators enough, and try to kill that Blightholer and then pave a way to get through to those Marines right there. That'll be my target, and maybe possibly this objective. Alright, shooting phase. Shooting. This tank was unable to kill the Biologist Putrefier. He's down to 1 wound. We did kill a bunch of Poxwalkers with between these 2 tanks firing heavy bolters. What are you down to? Less than 10, I think, over there. Yep. They were up to 10. This guy did good with his battle cannon. We had maximum shots. We played the Hail of Fire stratagem, and we were able to get a lot of hits and killed 2 Terminators, but then my multi-melters and las cannons totally bounced on this squad of Death Shroud. So we did kill 2 over there, only 1 over here. I mean, none over there. This guy, I'm trying to remember, he flamed the, took 1 wound off for the flame on the Myphitic Blightholer, and then the battle cannon, Demolisher cannon, only killed 1 guy down there. So he's damaged. He was only hitting on 5s. My tank commander failed to kill the big guy, the Demon Prince. But we did get him down to 3 wounds. He's a tough guy. He's ignores, what is it, -1 and -2, so yeah. He's saving on 2s or 3s. 2s. He's toughness 8. He's a beast. And I couldn't kill him.
Was because of the spell.
Yeah, I couldn't kill him. Everything bounced off of him. Even the mana core shells, everything bounced off. He weathered the storm. I shouldn't say bounced off. He weathered the storm. So I had to charge with this tank. This was a fresh tank, my only one that's not damaged, just to try to delay him from getting into my zone and taking on my commander. So this guy did his job. He took the cleaver hits down to half wounds. He'll probably get destroyed in the fight phase, but at least it won't be he won't be advancing any further. And then this guy, I don't think he did anything. I think he either whiffed or failed to do damage.
He took 1 out.
Took 1 out?
Yeah.
So we took a couple of guys out from over there. But we got into engage on 3 fronts. So the 1 tank that's halfway up the ruins over there is not did not cross the threshold of halfway across the battlefield, so he's not getting 4 fronts.
That fully within is...
Yeah, the fully within, but we got this one. So we're going to get 2 points for that. And we didn't bring anything else down, and we still haven't gotten within 3 inches of this. So maybe next turn we can start to surround and destroy, but we will see, because Scott still has this guy, the missile with the missile launcher multi-melter that can kill some stuff. These guys can shoot. You still got the Demon Prince on this side of the battlefield, and then you got your Death Shrouds. One of them did take damage, one of the squads, but the Lord of Contagion is full strength, ready to move and maybe get an assault. Biologist Putrefier is in that ruin. He could spew and probably destroy, I would think, at least one of those tanks.
I think so.
Yeah, it's getting down to the mid-game here where things are starting to get a little tight. And we're going to go to the bottom of turn 3, and we'll come back to you after Scott's movement. He was able to cast a psychic power. What did it give him? The toughness 8?
Toughness 8 and strength 9 with his weapon.
Alright, so he stayed in combat. Looks like you're moving these guys over to either reclaim this objective, take this tank down, or both.
Sounds like a plan.
This guy's holding his ground against the Demolisher. Yeah. Well, he's still got some treads in his mouth, chewing on it. They
were yummy.
Yeah. Looks like your Lord is going to go match up against my tank commander. Try to put a scythe right through the hull. One shot him. These guys are moving over into the terrain to try to deal with this guy that's holding on to this home objective. He tried to move away. We'll see if that was enough. Biologist Putrefier holding his ground on that objective.
Yep, and he's going to give a shot at him.
So he controls this objective, and this guy looks like his goal is to try to spread some sickness.
He's gonna.
All right, so he's got in range of that middle objective, and he's still got these holding this home objective right here. So this could be a turn where you can get back your objectives, spread some more sickness,
That's what I'm hoping.
and possibly deny me an objective in the home backfield over there. So every tank on the battlefield is damaged except for the Chimera that just came on this turn. This one's down to 3. We got 7 over there. This guy's almost at max. Half, half, half. And it looks like, so my 2 tank commanders are just 1 damage each, but all the other tanks are ripe for the picking. So we're going to get through the shooting phase, and we'll come back to you with a summary, see how we did. The movement phase and shooting is done. The shooting over here, let's talk about the little guy, the Mythic Blightholder. He used his multi-meltas to burn straight through the Demolisher tank's hull, right? So that killed him.
Right.
Did not explode. It looks like he shaved a couple of wounds off over here with some bolter fire.
Yeah, bolters actually are doing something to tanks.
And then you were able to charge in. So we got that going. He stayed in combat. Your Lord of Contagion was able to get into combat easily, but these guys made the long charge. They needed a 9, and that's what they got. So they got contact with this. So you were able to kill this tank that was over here with the Biologist Putrefier with his sprayer, and you killed the Demolisher. So that's 2 more Bring It Downs, totaling 6 altogether.
Yep.
And you got some serious threats to these 2 tanks. Well, this guy for sure. And I'm not sure about the Lord of Contagion. I'm sure he probably has some kind of nice weaponry to deal with a tank. Yeah. And this guy has an opportunity to put a cleaver, because he's if he gets 2 hits through, that will definitely take that one out.
Yeah, I almost don't want him to.
Yeah, really, he's going to get shot. All right, so that is the up to the fight phase. Let's see what we got.
He actually has a different weapon.
All right, so we're starting with this one. You said that they have some kind of boon on them, right?
Yep, he has the Corrosive Filth on his weapon. So that means his is Strength 8.
All right.
So I'll do his first. It is, they're normally 2+, but because it's kind of like a Power Fist, you subtract 1, so 2s are a miss. But now he has Strength 8 versus Toughness 7.
Yep, because we're getting the filth is starting to seep in through the hull.
And it's a Plague weapon.
Oh.
So that means it's at -3.
All right.
So 4 saves, and it does 3 damages.
So 6s are required, or else this is going to be in big trouble. I got 1 6. I have no rerolls, so that's 3, 6, 9 damage.
9 damage because they.
All right, so he is destroyed off my home objective. So there goes my any hope of trying to surround and destroy. Let's see if this goes boom. Nope. So 4th tank down, bringing it down. No explosions. We're at the Lord here against Tank Commander Danko in Red Heat. Let's see what we got. 5 attacks coming down.
So 1 miss.
Does he have a relic, any kind of special weapon?
Nope, he just has the normal Plague Reaper.
Okay.
But that's ×2 strength and 3 damage and a Plague weapon.
And I'm down to toughness 7 because of your sickness that's spreading out, your filth.
Correct, so that's 10 to 7, so 3 pluses. And it is a Plague weapon, not other one, so...
So 3 got through?
Yes, at -3.
So 6s again for the tank commander. He doesn't make any of these. What's the damage on this?
3, so 9 damage.
3, 6, 9. So I'm hanging on with 2 wounds after that devastating strike.
Maybe I should have rerolled that one. Oh well.
All right. Played 2 stratagems here. We got trench fighters and creeping blight on these plague marines.
Right,
so let's see what we got against this tank that's wounded.
Lots of plague knives going into the tank.
Rusty daggers.
The sickle I think is only for bolters, so I don't think I get the auto.
Alright, so looking for 5s against this toughness 7 vehicle because you're within the range of taking my toughness down. 6s are automatic wounds? More damage?
Yeah. Well, One's reroll because of plague. Let me just know that. Okay, so let's get rid of the ones that don't. So the 6s are -4.
That goes straight through.
So 3 of them, and then 4 normal saves.
All right, and here's my 4 normal saves on a 3-up, which I failed 2. So I failed 4. And they do 1 damage each.
Yep.
And that's all it takes right there. Well, actually, I failed 5 because you said these are -4. So this goes down. Creeping Blight Trench Fighters. Let's see if we go boom on this one. No. So another bring it down. That's the 5th tank down for the count. And that took away my engage on fronts. So I'm losing tanks that were trying to get across the battlefield. I just got this one left right here, and he has yet to go.
6 attacks, which I want to miss.
All right, so we missed the dice roll here, but I got 1 6, and I did wound, and he did fail his save. So he got wounded by the tank because it goes to defender now. He didn't charge. But the separating plate does a mortal wound on a...
When I fail, I have to roll 2+, and then you get.
And so it did a damage to me. So I'm down to 5, and now he gets his 5, 6 attacks.
6 attacks.
6 attacks. All right. He's got 2 wounds left. He's still cleaving away.
All hit.
Yep.
And then
if 2 of these get through, I'm down to toughness 7 now because you're in that filth range.
Yep. So 3 at -3.
3 at -3. So
I want you to roll 6.
I need 6s. I didn't get any 6s. So that's 9 damage. Is going to take him down. Let's see if he goes boom. This is the 6th tank. No.
This is the exact opposite of last time.
Yeah, last time we blew up everything. This time they're going down, but without explosions. All right, so that just took away 2 of my tanks that had an opportunity to get engaged on all fronts for the 2nd time, and also trying to threaten the surround and destroy. So good round for the Death Guard. Huge swing in momentum has occurred here. We got this Death Shroud was able to take out this tank and capture this objective. So that Scott has both of these objectives over here. He also controls this with the Biologist Putrefier and the Ruin and this Death Shroud Terminator. This tank commander is down to 2 wounds. The Myphilitic Blight Hauler is controlling this objective, so that's 4 objectives. The Plague Marines over here killed that tank and was able to control that objective. That's 5. So I'm losing 5 objectives to 1. So my surround and destroy is pretty much gone. But Scott is alive with that. So it looks like he's definitely going to get a surround and destroy. I don't think I could stop that over there unless my Manticore has a tremendous showing with his one last rocket, Storm Eagle rocket, on those Terminators. But it's looking bleak.
More of them.
Yeah.
If you took them out, it would.
Yeah, then you wouldn't gain that over there. All right, so we're going to go into the top of turn 4. We're looking at the score. None of us have gotten surround them yet. For Bring It Down, Scott is in the lead, 12-8. And he has Spread the Sickness again over there on that objective, so he's up to 9 on that one. And I only have 2 for Engage on all fronts. And it looks like I'm going to be hard-pressed to get any more from that. So it comes down to objectives. So I have 1, so I'm going to get 5 points this turn. And now my goal is to try to stop Scott from getting at least, I guess, that Surround and Destroy. So we got to either take out Poxwalkers or the Marines in the back corner.
That's true.
Because I don't think we're going to be able to stop these guys from doing it. All right, let's see what we got coming up.
Yeah, because those.
Shooting phase saw us kill the Demon Prince with the tank commander, but my Manticore had a lot of shots. I think we got it up to 9 with that one reroll. Unfortunately, a lot of failed damage, and we couldn't get through. The battle cannon did some damage, right? We fired the battle cannon at the with the tank commander. I think we killed 2. But the Manticore completely whiffed. So this guy is able to hold this objective, which is going to open up a ton of points for the mission objective, Surround and Destroy for Scott. This guy miffed on his flames, and I went into attack just to get closer, just to contested objective, but I think the Myphitic Blightholder was able to chew a wound off of me in his fight back. And this tank commander Danko was sliced and diced by the Reaper. So the Lord of Contagion killed. That's his 3, 6, that's 7. Bring it down. So you're almost at max on bring it down. And that was it. So I could not get my goal is to try to clear that off to stop Scott from at least getting surround and destroy secondaries, but I didn't do it. So he's going to get some big points this turn. And we're going to go to the bottom of turn 4. So we're going to get back to you after his movement phase. Movement phase was quick. I think just the Lord moved. And he was able to come over here. And we did some shooting with the Myphitic Blightholder in combat, and we found out that he doesn't suffer penalties to hit when they're in combat, right? All Death Guard, or it's not just him?
It's all
Death Guard. So he was able to fire his multi-melter, the rocket launcher, and the bile spurt, but I don't believe the bile spurt did anything. But between the multi-melter and the missile launcher, you took 7 points off of the hull of the Chimera. So now the Lord had a 7-inch charge, which he made just on a 7. So he will go first in combat, and let's see if he can punch through this tank and get a point out of it for bring it down, which will almost put you at, yeah, you'll almost be at max.
Yeah.
Actually, this will. If you get this will be at maximum for bring it down, for the Lord of Change. I mean, Lord of Contagion. I always get my Zinch.
So 5 hits. It is a plague weapon. So it's
What's the minus
10
on that?
verse 6 though, so
Yeah, I'm contaged.
3. So -3.
-3. How many?
3.
3. All right, so 6s are required, or else I think it's over, right? Because it's 3 damage a pop. So I did make 1 6, but 6 damage to the tank. Let's see if it goes boom. This hasn't happened yet this game. And there it is, the Bob Evers boom dice. Always a game. Wouldn't be a game without it, right, Bob? All right, so
And with people in it.
yeah, there are people in it, but it's D3 to him and D3 to that guy, right?
Okay.
So D3 to this guy for the maximum,
3, so he's up to 4
and
wounds.
D3 to the other guy for 2. And I'll get back to you with this. I'll disembark, and then we'll roll dice and see how many people die from that. All right, so we were able to get on at least the other side of this wall with the 3-inch deployment. And now let's see how many of these veterans, or not veterans, just infantry, see how many of them don't make it out of the exploding tank. On 1, they die. All right, none. They're all alive. So we're not within the 3-inch consolidation range, but you do get to consolidate if you do want to towards them, but at least I won't be engaged in the fight. And then that will be the end of turn 4, right?
Yes.
Which is going to give you 4 points for surround and destroy.
Wasn't that at the beginning?
Yeah, that was at the command phase. So you got the 4 points for surround and destroy. You just maxed out on bring it down by taking down that 1-point Chimera. And you spread the sickness onto... This guy can't spread sickness, right? It's only
Correct.
infantry. So you've spread the sickness, but these guys will be able to do it next turn.
Yeah.
Continue to spreading sickness. And we'll get back to you at the top of 5 for my last movement phase. Move my mana core. It's full movement up to here, hitting the terrain. I could have tried to advance him, but I need a 6, and I'm going to try to use Vengeance for Cadia at my last command point. So I won't be able to get a reroll. I would need a 6 to get the rear of the tank across the halfway point right there. So the halfway point is just beyond this crater right here. So I would need a 6 to get there. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to keep him here. Fire his heavy flamer at the Lord of Contagion. I moved this tank commander over so he'll be able to see through this ruin. So he has targets on the Myphitic Blightholder, which is my last bring it down option, and also killing the Warlord possibly here just for pride purposes. When you spread the sickness over here, you lost a guy from the D3 mortal wounds. So, but you still spread the sickness on this. So you've got sickness on 4 out of the 6 objectives. It looks like you're accomplishing your mission. These guys moved up into the ruin, so they're going to try to get some shots downtown on these guys and maybe try to fulfill my dream of killing them. We'll see if the las guns can do what the Storm Eagle rockets couldn't. And just try to kill some units over here. Looks like 3 units we'll be able to focus on. So I'll get back to you after the shooting and see if we did any damage. The end of my turn 5, top of this turn, the tank commander, the Lord of Contagion had the ability where I can't re-roll the ones to hit for the gunner's kill on sight order. And it actually wound up being big because it stopped. I had a bunch of ones that I couldn't re-roll. But I did split my fire, and it wound up getting me 2 units out of the 3 that I targeted. So I targeted one of the multi-melt sponsons at the Death Shroud Terminator that was on 1 wound remaining, and it killed him. I targeted the battle cannon on the Lord of Contagion and was able to just take him down, right? I think I just did just enough to get him down. He only had 2 wounds left, I believe.
Yep.
And then the last cannon and multi-melter only did 1 damage over here. I think he made a save against the multi-melter, and then the last cannon only did 1 damage. So I failed there. I tried to use las gun fire of these guys that got out over here to shoot at the squad. We plinked off of their armor. They're very tough and resilient over there. And over here, we tried to assault the Myphitic Blightholder, thinking maybe in some dreamland I could bayonet these guys, this thing to death. But everything plinked off of that, and he wound up killing 3 of my guys in return, chewing on my guardsmen, easier chewing than tanks. So we're at the bottom of 5. I failed to get that last bring it down point, which would have got me to 10. And I got this squad across the board, but it's not going to get me the engage. Actually, no, at the end of the turn it does, right? So at the end of the turn, I am going to get 2 points for engage finally with those guardsmen that rushed out. But that's only going to bring me to 4. And I was able to get an objective because those guys are troops. They are objective secured, so they were able to control it at the at the beginning of the phase when I got out of the tank from the previous phase when it blew up. So we're at the bottom of the turn. I think, Scott, you could kill another tank. You're at max out for bring it down, but you could destroy something with this multi-melter here.
No, I can't. I'm in combat.
Oh yeah, you're in combat, so you can't fall back and shoot.
Your guys saved their commander.
They saved him again. All right, so they actually did something this game. They got an engage, they got a objective, and they saved the commander from being shot. And these guys already spread the sickness, and they're out of range to shoot anything.
Yeah.
So these guys could shoot. I guess they could shoot at the Manticore if they wanted to, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's not going to change the outcome,
no.
And I don't think they'll be able to destroy it.
Yeah,
so I
they
think
only have 6 shots. So.
Yeah. So I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, with the 1 combat, right?
We do have the combat. Yeah, you're right. So let's. Defender goes first. So I'm actually going to get in here.
What do we want to do? The points first. Because only do something.
Right. You get your battle points. So you get your 15 for the primary.
And then
you can't spread sickness anymore anywhere else, right?
The secondary though is we do that at the beginning.
That's at the end of your command phase. So you're going to get another 4 for surround them.
Okay.
All right. Let's get that on there, and then we'll do this combat. The bottom of this 5th round. So Scott was able to get the surround and destroy. So another 4 brings him to 8 on that objective for the mission. He spread the sickness on, I believe, 4. So that's 12 for spreading the sickness. And over here in this combat phase, we did the last attack, and he killed 3. I failed my morale check and lost 3 additional. So that was the end of the. Well, basically the squad fled from morale, failed morale. He did chew on 3 more guardsmen. So they're gone, and that leaves you in control of 5 out of the 6 yeah, because the biologist guy is in that ruin over there. So you're in control of 5 of the 6 objectives. I have this 1. It was a very convincing victory for the Death Guard. It didn't start out like that. I did get the jump with the shooting.
And I think in a way that almost hurt you.
Well, I was creeping along at 5 inches. I probably would have been better served putting more vehicles, I think, in the center and going for these center objectives than I was trying to do the flank maneuver by coming out and around. I thought if I got into these ruins over here, I would be able to control the objectives, but it just didn't pan
Yeah,
out.
because if you're in the center, you could have done 5 and shot.
Yeah.
But on the side, you would have had to not shoot, I guess, to get there.
And I think that my, even though the guardsman at the end there did do something, I think that I put too many eggs in that basket of being able to come in on those roads over there, because you just blocked them off, and I wasn't able to do so for 2 rounds. So that's 2 rounds of that squad not doing anything. But they got, they did something. They got at least an objective, and kept this guy off my commander.
Yeah, 2 victory points and dealt with some guys.
Yeah.
But I think this really shows 9th edition is entirely about the mission, though. Because
Absolutely.
you were destroying me the first turn, but the mission objectives, that and also in this codex, I think I'm taking a lot more Plague Marines and Terminators, because...
Right. Well, yeah, troops seem to get, do a lot of work. I mean, I was able to kill the one squad of Poxwalkers over here, but these guys kept coming back, and I really couldn't get rid of them. This was my weaker flank, but again, I was betting on that flamer tank to come in over here and do some work, but it never panned out.
Yeah, 100-point Poxwalkers.
All right, so yeah, we were just talking about how the Poxwalkers really, they do a lot of work.
100 points, and then you can bring them back with a CP.
Yeah, big time.
That's helpful.
So we're going to look at the tournament scoring sheet here. You maxed out on primaries, and let's just pan over here to it. You maxed out on your primary. I was able to get 35. You did get 8 out of the surround them. I got 0 for that. And you brought down 15 points, maxed that out. I got 9. The max I could have gotten was 10, but still didn't do it. And you spread the sickness. That was big, because I didn't think you were going to be able to get all the way over, but having those Terminators come in, they were in the right spot, Johnny on the spot there.
Because I look at the board, and besides the Terminators, there's one model in your half of the board.
Yeah, that was the weak side for me. So the total is 90 for the Death Guard, which is 90 out of 100. That's a big score, and I got 56 for the Astra Militarum. So the Astra Militarum in this league suffered its first loss at the hands of a Chaos. I believe we had a 1 win against the Chaos, and I think the other one was against Necrons, but I'm not sure.
No, against the Knights.
Oh, the Knights. So we had 2 wins against Chaos and then 1 loss. And this was the first battle in the league for your Death Guard, right?
This is my first with the new codex, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think? Any thoughts on the new codex and moving forward?
It's interesting because discussing resilience against flamers and demolisher cannons was quite useless. But on the other hand, the 2 wounds for the Plague Marines and against battle cannons, it actually did exceptionally well, bringing down 1 damage. So that was fun. I think it's a troop codex, and I wouldn't necessarily go with the Defilers or the Hellbrood again, probably. I'll probably find the points to get a second Whitehaller.
That's these little guys, right?
Because for its movement and its weaponry, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and they got a small profile, so I think you're able to, hide them and get them into places maybe a bigger tank wouldn't be able to get into.
Yeah, and with a movement of 10, it's pretty fast.
And they don't degrade, and if they blow up, they don't hurt you.
Yeah.
Well, hurt your army. They would hurt me.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely... The Plague Burst Crawlers they got a bad beginning, so
yeah.
I think I'd still go with them.
How about these guys?
Well, we didn't really get to see too much with them, but in an army that can't move, having something appear on the other side of the board is huge.
Definitely.
And those weapons they're brutal.
Because even if you had chosen engage on all fronts, or even teleport Homer, well, not teleport Homer because you would have to perform an action, but line breaker, that would be 4 points every time they're in this zone.
Yeah.
So they're able to get here. So, they're tough. I mean, and they have they have that flamer template type.
Yeah, which
spear,
right? Isn't huge, but still, it's
at least they can do
decent
something in both phases, shooting and assault.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and this guy, he has a nice weapon.
Yeah.
That he's able to extend the range on. I mean, a strength 8 flamer doing 3 damage a pop is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, you rolled really low. I think you should have taken out this tank way earlier than you did. I think you actually 2 rounds it lasted longer than I think it should have.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because I kept rolling 1s and 2s on him. So, but that happens.
Well, we weren't filming a lot of the early rolls, and I think we saved the viewers some of that
frustration.
You did roll a lot of ones into ones, and it was brutal at times. And then it was the opposite for me. I was rolling all my my gunnery experts into 9s and 11s, so it was a tale of opposites in the first
like,
two rounds.
Oh, my quick burst crawler, that'll last great. And it's like 11 hits. Oh, no saves.
Well, I don't think you got one hit or damage with the entropy cannons, and that was bad because those things do some work.
Yeah.
And they didn't really, and even with your mortar shots, you were rolling 2 for shots. That one time where you had the first shot where you could have gotten 3 damage, it only rolled 2 shots. So, and that was with a reroll.
Yeah,
which is not
could have with 4 shots that could have wiped out the thing. But once again, it's objectives or everything because really it's the infantry that did everything.
Yeah.
At least for my army.
Well, I still like playing with Tank Company, but it is kind of slow. So I think moving forward, I think I might have to get a patrol of the Militarum Tempestus. I've had them, and I've done lists with them before. Even though there's not that many of them, they still can at least do what you're saying, like deep strike back behind enemy lines, get some line breaker maybe, do some work.
And I think it's tough with tanks when you can fire twice to not take that.
Yeah.
And but you have to not because you need to get forward. Like it's a mess.
Yeah, I think if I would have been better served if I deployed more in the middle and then pushed for those center objective. But again, if you put everything here, these were the only open lines of shooting. If you would have got first turn, it would have been maybe the opposite way. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten anything. I could have gotten because you had a Hellbrute over here. You had the Defiler.
Yeah, it could have been a brutal shooting for
the Plague Burst guys can do. They don't have to see; they can shoot. So you had a lot of firepower. If you would have got the first turn, it could have been the opposite way.
Yeah, and with the rolling.
I like the narrative. I like this battlefield by this battle map by Frontline Gaming because it's got everything still kind of worked out for this edition. Even if you restrict the edges on the battlefield like we did, we took a couple inches off of here and a couple inches off of the long table edges. So it did get us not to the minimum size, but
pretty close. And
yeah,
it certainly didn't affect the battle.
Right. I mean, I'm not a fan of the minimum board size period, but I know that people like to play it because it does change the dynamic of ninth. It gets you into combat quicker and,
I think the big thing is that if you start from the center, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because you can't really, I think what most people don't want it to do is people hide from shooting.
Right.
And you can't if you're going to get objectives anyway, so you have to come forward.
Yeah, you got to move out.
I don't think it's a big deal one way or the other.
All right. Well, if you guys, if anybody that's still watching made it through to this point, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and another battle report in the Bellport Battle Bunker. And stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Look forward to getting some more of the league matches on here. I'm going to try to get some film some of the other players. Hopefully, they can get some games in.
That vaccines are coming.
Yeah, vaccines are out, and people are starting to get a little bit more, acclimated to getting. I think they're upping capacities in hobby shops and stuff like that. Restaurants. We'll see what happens. All right. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on the Bellport Battle Bunker. Stay safe.